Okay, we are live.
Oh,
Okay, we are
that's-
live. All right, welcome everyone to our very first episode, our first live stream ever on Technobabble. Just to give you a rundown of what we're gonna do. Or basically in this series, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna invite different people, industry experts, or basically anybody who is well known in a certain topic. We will discuss that certain topic, and then at the same time, you guys can also ask questions. If you have a question, drop it down in the comment box on the YouTube page, and then we will try to answer all of them. All right. But anyway, let's talk about our guests. All right. So our very first guest is Mel from RealMelTan. All right, so RealMelTan is another YouTube channel. Now, what he does is he basically features a lot of PC components, CPUs, graphics cards, and all that sort of thing, building guides and all that. Really great channel, and he does a lot of things that I don't really do because I really don't have a lot of the utilities and the tools that I need to do it. But I mean, Mel is here, so why do I need to do that, right? So if you guys want to check it out, go ahead, like his page, subscribe to his channel as well, all right? And we also have Gordon, all right? So Gordon, and if you're wondering who is who on the stream, you should see our names there at the bottom, so don't worry. Gordon is from Typhoon Systems, all right? So Typhoon Systems, they're basically custom PC builders or custom system integrators. So we have a few in Singapore, they're all excellent. Typhoon is no different, all right? So if you guys want to find out more about Typhoon Systems as well, go check them out. They're on Facebook, Insta. I will hopefully put their link down. I didn't do that in the description. I'll do it again later. Speaking of which, this is our very first live stream, first time I've ever done it. So I'm guessing there are going to be mistakes. So if you see any mistakes, if one of the volume isn't working or what, just let me know. All right, we'll just learn as we go. Okay, so we introduce our guest today, the so-called panel. But yeah, so talking about today's topic, so we're going to talk about AMD versus Intel. Now, recently, when it comes to PCs or gaming or productivity, any sort of anything to do with computers, it's always been Intel. Intel has been the front runner for decades, or has PC around me for decades. Yeah, easily I think we can talk about decades. And just a few years ago, even 4 years ago, if we were to have the discussion, I think it would have taken 5 minutes. Because we just say, okay, buy an Intel chip, okay, AMD, it's not worth it. You use it if your room is too cold or something, don't bother. But then, guys, out of nowhere, 3 years ago, all right, AMD launched their Ryzen chips, all right, and then we had, now we are on Gen 3, am I right?
Yep, Gen 3.
Yeah, we are on Gen 3 right now, and it's been amazing, the rise. I mean, in a short time, in just 3 years, and I'm going to put this up on the stream. Sorry, but Mel and Gordon, you won't be able to see this, but basically, say that in just a short time, in 3 years, it's nothing short of amazing. But having said that, is it really just AMD doing that well? Is it Intel being complacent? And Gordon, I want to ask you this question. I mean, Intel for many years they've had no reason to compete. If they compete, they'll be competing with themselves, right? So, what do you think right now is the biggest? What do you think right now is the biggest factor in AMD doing so well? And I'm getting some comments, and I just realized that while I put the Chrome page on, my audio got cut, and that's one of my OBS settings. I'm so sorry, guys. Basically, what I was saying is that AMD has 50% of the high-end CPU sales, which is amazing in just a short time, just over 3 years. So, Gordon, I wanted to ask you this. What do you think right now is the biggest factor in AMD doing so well?
I will just say this like you mentioned, Intel for quite an extended period of time had basically no competition. It was if they were competing versus within their own product range, in within their own SKU, that kind of thing. This could probably this originated back in like Intel second gen, or we call it Sandy, codename Sandy Bridge. That was back in 2012. From 2012 all the way up to 2017, that's a period of 5 years.
Intel dominance.
Yeah,
Intel dominance. Yeah.
No, basically there was no competition. It was that. I mean, AMD had their lineup at that time, Power Driver, Bulldozer, but it was no contest at that point. It was on outdated technology, outdated manufacturing process, outdated pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But when Ryzen came in, it was something new. It was something new. It was something refreshing, and more importantly, the price to performance was there. I mean, okay, when it came out for certain things like gaming, for one thing, the Ryzen first gen versus the Intel 7th gen at that time still wasn't quite there yet. But the potential you could see was there. Yeah, you could see the performance.
But okay, that's more on the AMD side. Do you think that Intel was sort of, in some ways, the architect of their own downfall?
Do I think that maybe to some parts? I think they were complacent, lah. I will say to some degree. I mean, I don't claim to have any insider information on all this kind of thing, but from anybody's perspective, Intel got caught with their proverbial pants down.
Okay.
No, but do you
Mel,
think that it's actually more of the Ryzen first gen or Ryzen second gen onwards?
I would say first gen was already the shock factor, because for a very long while before Ryzen dropped, what was considered mid-range? I'll just take a mid-range. It was the Intel Core i5, which was 4 cores, 4 threads. If you bought an i7, it was 4 cores, 8 threads. Then you have Ryzen drop in. When Ryzen drops in, you have suddenly you have 6 cores, 12 threads. And it's at the i5 price.
Yep.
Yeah, So up to this point in time, everybody had the thinking and the mentality that you wanted more than 4, you needed more than 4, you couldn't buy desktop, you had to buy HEDT.
Yeah.
The high-end desktop line. But suddenly, hey, there's this 6 core, there's these 12 threads, and it's coming at i5 pricing. That was the biggest shocker. It was a case of everybody, the consumers, thought it couldn't be done, but Ryzen proved it could be done. It just needed some polishing and all that, which I think the polishing has shown its results in 3rd gen. Yeah,
that's true. But another thing, just to cut in. Now, another thing that people keep talking about is the process in which the CPU is built. So, like, Intel is still stuck on 14 nanometer. Are they on 10 nanometer now or still 14? 14, right?
Still 14.
Still 14, right? They tried to go to 10, but they had issues, if I'm not wrong. I think with TSMC or someone else.
But the 10, they say the next one, they're confident can go to 10 at least. We
Which,
don't know.
if you think about it, as someone who has AMD, I'm like, ooh, AMD's on 7, all right? And the next one, Ryzen Zen 4, or maybe Zen 5, there are even rumors about Zen 5 now. They are saying that there's a possibility of going to 5 nanometer. And okay, and just for our viewers here who really aren't sure what the hell we're talking about, now when we talk about 5 nanometer, we're talking about the size of what do we call it? The chip in the entire silicon.
The transistor.
Yeah, the transistor in the entire one silicon wafer. Is that what you call wafer, right?
The whole chip.
The whole chip. Right? Okay, so just to put it in
a
layman, like an analogy, if let's say I had one cake, okay, and yes, you're going to get analogies with food for me. But anyway, so let's say you got a cake, all right? Now, if each size of the cake, if I cut it in 4s, okay, I only have 4 slices. right? But if I cut them a lot thinner, I can make maybe 8, I can get 16, I can get 24 slices depending on how thin I cut them, right?
This one you
Now,
can cut 20 billion times.
yeah, well, basically, yeah, but for the analogy of the cake, now, basically what it means is that AMD is able to get a yield of much more transistors, much more chips within that one wafer, okay? Which adds to efficiency of the chip. It also adds to the price per chip, because if you have more from one circular wafer, you get more. And by the way, out of every one that you build, you always get some failures. And if they are bigger, the failures is a bigger percentage of the entire wafer. But if you're on 7 nanometer, and by the way, Gordon, correct me anytime if I'm wrong here, but if they're on a smaller transistor size, you get more chips per that wafer. That one failure or how many failure is a smaller percentage. So it's a lot more cost efficient as well. Am I right?
Maybe that's probably a bit generalizing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to go too technical because not all of viewers will be able to understand. Yeah.
But the improvement, I mean, from an end user perspective, I mean, we don't want to go into the 7nm versus 14nm debate here. Yeah, because it's going to be all technical and only engineering degree fellows will understand. But suffice to say that process, the 7nm process, has allowed AMD to be able to do things like, let's say, the Ryzen 9 3950X, for example, in that one same square area in a desktop socket, not a HEDT socket, a desktop socket, they could squeeze 16 cores, 32 threads, running at a base clock. I believe it was 3.8. I mean, I have to check later, but yeah, it allows them to squeeze in a desktop socket 16 cores. And the thing, because it's on 7 nanometer, compared to Intel's the top of the line desktop. Oh yeah, the 10900K, that 10 core 20 threads. The 3950, the 16 core 3950X, I can tell you from comparison, runs a lot cooler. It runs a lot cooler. So because it's more power efficient, it's that kind of thing. We don't want to go too much into that. But the TLDR is that it allows them to squeeze more cores, more threads, and subsequently on the die more cache, more this, more of everything, like, in a sense.
Actually, you bring up a good point, because when Intel released the 10900K, that was what, 12 cores? Or 10? 10, right? But even then, because they're on 14 nanometer, there were people complaining about it overheating and burning some motherboards. Do you hear about
that? We don't have to tell you. You don't have to hear it from them, because I and Mel actually did test a 10900K. We actually got a chance to test one sample set.
This reminds me of the Samsung Note 7. Remember I call it the Note C4. You know, the bomb. I actually bought it, okay? I bought it, I pre-ordered it, and I received it, and I was so happy. And then you started getting all these explosions. But basically, one of the reasons why is they said that they were pushing the limit in terms of the battery size that they could put, and it was too close to the components. And
because of the squeeze inside the form factor.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what Intel is doing, right? They're trying to squeeze as much power out of a 14 nanometer process chip, right? Wasn't that what happened?
They are squeezing it for as much as they can until their 10 mm is ready. So for the moment, their 14 nanometer process is very mature. So they're trying to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. So for the 10900K, the result is what you see there. Is it very fast? Yes, it's very fast in single core. We got a chance to test it. But the price that it pays is that oh boy, I think I told Mel, if we did a video on it, it was hot. It was hot.
Yeah.
And to give a comparison, if I were to put, just say, the Intel i9 10900K versus the Ryzen 9 3950X, for example, the Ryzen could be cooled quite easily by
360, right? Easy right.
The Ryzen could easily be cooled by even a 140mm air cooler. A very simple 140. Yeah, it can easily be cooled by 140mm air cooler, like let's say the Noctua D15, the Cryoric R1 Universal, that kind of thing. Simple air cooler. If you want to liquid cool it, a 240mm radiator will more than suffice.
Okay. All right. So for you guys who are watching, I'm sorry if you're getting too technical, and I just want to repeat that if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. We'll try to answer them. But okay. So now we've talked about AMD. We've talked about the chip. What makes them better? The possible mistakes Intel has made. So now we're in a situation where if you're gaming, yeah, sure. Intel, you buy the best that they have, the 10900K. Yes, your single clock speed, you might still get that slight better performance. But the price that you're getting, and by the way, and I know it's very difficult in Singapore to ask this question because a lot of times, if you go to SimLim or anything, they don't really sell you the CPU alone. They always try to combine it with a motherboard. They always go like this combo.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. But if let's say we were to compare the Intel 10900, and we don't need to talk about K, is it K? And then we go with the AMD comparison. Like, what's the price between the two? And the reason why I'm asking is because it's very easy to go to Newegg and get a price, but the price is very different when it's in Singapore.
Yes,
even after conversion, it's always slightly higher because there are a lot more cogs in the machine before we get it. You know what I mean?
Yep, definitely.
So, yeah,
definitely.
What is the price difference between those two chips?
The price difference. Okay, let's say, right now, 10900K pricing, I do not quite have it.
Yeah, I tried. I went to those like hardware zone and all that to download. It's all combos.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
Let's
if
just
you
say it's about 1,000 Sing dollars, maybe 1,000.
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I think it's a bit lower than that, right?
Okay, I will say probably if you could theoretically, you could walk into a SimLink Square shop and you could buy the CPU by itself. The 10900K, you're probably looking in the ballpark region of say maybe like 800 plus, $900.
Okay, and what about the AMD equivalent, which is the 3950 or 3900? 3950, right?
Okay, the 3950 is actually more expensive.
Okay. But is it an equivalent?
Okay, an equivalent 3900, the 12 core, and that guy is quite a fair bit cheaper. It's okay, like it's about 700. It's about 700, a little bit under 800.
But that's 12 core, right? The 10900 is 10 core or 12 core?
10
yeah,
core,
so you're getting 2 more cores, but it's cheaper, right?
Yep, in a sense, yes, it is.
Which
probably different boost clock.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So it's really like people, the people who still support Intel, the diehard Intel fans. And by the way, I'm not trying to side with one or the other. We're just talking about them both. But people who still support Intel and refuse to go to AMD, they just say, "Oh, it's still the best for gaming. You still get a higher boost clock." But the fact of the matter is, like that difference in boost clock, how many frames are you talking about? And is it something that you're even going to be able to tell in the first place?
Well, I think if you were to look at it from, let's say, different perspective, different user perspective. Okay, because in my line of work, we get all kinds of customers. We get gamers, we get content creators, we get designers, we get all kinds. So if you were to look from a context of, let's say, a gamer, for example, if he were to come to me to say, Gordon, I want a new PC. And I have $4,000, $5,000 in my pocket. I want the best. I want the best frame rates. Then my advice to him is, this is objectively speaking. Okay, sir, 10900K, Z490 motherboard. Get a good one because you're gonna need it, and get an NVIDIA RTX 2080 Ti. You get the best of everything for gaming. So this is the scenario where the new i9 shines at. For
when
the gamer
value for money is not the main issue, it's just that I've got this bunch of money, I want to throw it in your face, give me the best thing possible for gaming. right?
Well, nobody will argue that a Ferrari or a Lamborghini is value for money.
That's an excellent point. There is this thing called the law of diminishing returns, where you get to the point where it's no longer value for money anymore, right?
Yeah. So I mean, some people are willing to pay much more because they want the absolute best. So if, let's say, in Singapore context again, if they got that budget, $4,000, $5,000, then I'll just say, by all means, please buy the i9, buy the 3080 Ti, buy a good motherboard, buy a good case, buy basically, please buy everything that's this of a decent
Expensive.
standard. To be able to properly support. You need a whole complete ecosystem to support that i9. Then if you got the money to splurge for that awesome ecosystem, then please go ahead. I'm more than happy to do.
Yeah.
But if you are looking at, let's say, the budget range of, let's say, 1K, 1.5, the mid range. So for AMD will be the Ryzen 5. For Intel will be the Core i5. This is where AMD starts to shine because
The multi-core support. Multi-core, multi-threads,
that's one. That's one thing. Then the other part being will be like the cost of the motherboard, because right now you have to understand 10 gen you have a Z490 at the moment, which is the top end one. Of course, the lower end ones are coming in as it is lah. I believe they should be out already, but then I've seen some of the pricing is like
Doesn't seem low end.
Okay, because the thing is the thing is that versus Intel mid-range motherboard versus AMD mid-range motherboard, I can tell you the AMD B450, for example, you could walk into Simlim right now, you could buy a cheap, no frills B450 motherboard for about if you could buy it standalone, it's probably about $130, for example. 130, for example. If you
Singapore dollars, just to let our viewers know, we're talking about Singapore dollars, just in case non-Singaporeans.
Singapore dollars. If you were to go on the other side of the aisles, on the Intel side of the aisles, what kind of motherboard does $130 gets you? You would probably get the very entry level, the H. The name of that chipset escapes me, but you will get that one, the one with only two RAM slots.
Two PCIe.
The 130 for the
370 or something like that.
Yes. No, not that one. I have to check later. But but basically if you have $130 to buy a motherboard, the TLDR, if you have $130 to buy a motherboard, what you will get for the AMD ecosystem will be better than what you'll get from the Intel system.
And actually, that was going to bring to my next question. But before I give my next question, I have this quite funny comment from the art of Mezame, or Mezame, I think Mezame. He's like, every time I hear Gordon talk about tech, I feel the need to upgrade something again. Haha.
Because his PC was built by me, by him.
I sort of guessed that. And dude, whatever your name is, I don't know what your name is. I'll just call you Art for short. I hear you. We did a test call yesterday, just to try out before we had the stream today, and we were talking. And the more we talk about it, and the more I hear Gordon talk, I'm looking at my PC, I'm looking at my Ryzen 7 2700X, I'm looking at the worst mistake of my life, which is my RTX 2080, and I'm like, I want to upgrade, but it doesn't make sense right now. But yeah, man, I hear you. It is for people like us. It is so difficult to talk about this without like looking for my wallet or like trying to go on Simlim and see what I can buy. Okay, but anyway. Mez is fine. Alright, hi Mez. Thanks for watching, by the way. Okay, so the next question, like when we talk about AMD and Intel, when we talk about what's better and what makes it better, everyone focuses a lot on the CPU. But there's just so much more to it in the computer, right? Like So and you actually touched on it before I got asked the question, which was the motherboard. Now, every freaking Intel generation has almost always, to my recent knowledge, has always resulted in a new motherboard that some poor soul that has to buy if he wants to upgrade. Okay? And AMD, before, when they first released the first gen, they gave a guarantee of supporting the AM4 socket and keeping with the AM4 socket for 5 generations. And then, a few weeks ago, or was it last week, they said that, the Ryzen Zen 4 is not going to not be supported on X470 and B450 motherboards. And then all hell broke loose within the IT community, which is not much, but still. And then after that, AMD did a turnaround. So when AMD, when Dr. Su, Lisa first came out, or someone said it, I was like, okay, they are doing it. Now they are so big that they're starting to play punk already. But then, after 2 days, they turned it back. And the thing is, okay, I just want to say, there are valid reasons why at first they didn't want to do it. But we're not going to talk about that so much today, because I think there's a whole another hour and I don't want to talk about that right now. But the point I'm trying to make is that another really good thing, and it comes back to value for money, not just value for money, but basically is that I have the first gen Ryzen or I have the second gen Ryzen. I can go up to Zen 3 and now even Zen 4. And I can keep my motherboard if I wanted to, and I can get a new generation chip, which is fantastic. Okay, but the other thing is for AMD Zen 3, now they have included support for PCI Gen 4. All right, but if I buy that chip, let's say now I've got a X470 board. Okay, I'm pointing this way because my PC is over there. But anyway, so I have the second gen 2700X rather than 2, and I've got a Gigabyte Aorus X470 board. I can easily go and buy a Zen 3 now, and it will work, but I won't have PCI Gen 4 support. Okay?
Yep, you won't have.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, I don't have to fork out money for another motherboard. For people who don't really care about Gen 4, Gen 4 is sort of like Wi-Fi 6 in the sense that it's good. It will be good, but it's not really utilized now. Even like 8K TVs, it's ridiculous. There's no use for it now, right? So PCI Gen 4 will have its use in the elite people or productivity, whatever. But right now, for the general public, really is not that big a deal, or not that big a loss at least, right? So you've also got that factor of that spending less as well in terms of efficiency. Okay. We have a question. All right, from Joel. Hi, Joel. I got a question, guys. I am a Mac user. Are these upgrades that you're talking about applicable, or should I leave? Well, Joe, actually, I was going to ask this question, but anyway, Joe, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry that we're not going to talk about Mac, but I'm sorry that you're on a Mac. Yeah. Actually, I wanted to ask the question, but to answer your question, Joe, yeah, AMD's right now not available. Even on the Mac Pro, it's still all Intel chips, right?
The
crazy price one now.
The current Mac, the new Mac Pro, I call it the new Mac Pro, is using Intel Xeon CPUs. So,
but they're on Radeon graphics, right?
But yes, they are on they are on Radeon graphics. But as to did AMD actually play a part in this? I would say yes, in a sense, because the Xeons that are sitting on the Mac Pro were developed in response to AMD Ryzen pushing them along.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to talk too much about this. Basically, Joe, sorry, yeah, this is mostly for Windows people. But speaking of which, for Mac, and there's a very good question from Favor Emperor. I'm going to come to that very soon. But the thing is, like, Asus Zephyrus G15 and the G14 are now using AMD laptop, not CPUs, APUs. All right, so basically APUs are CPUs together with the graphics. So you got Radeon graphics inside the APU as well. Do you think that Mac is gonna? Because I think it is perfect for MacBooks of the future. Do you think it will make sense on a MacBook? I think it will.
If you're talking about Mac, it gets a little bit complicated because Apple has its own way of doing things. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Most of us in this industry do that. That being said, this one is what I saw. This is what I saw somewhere on a website. Actually, the name escapes me. That some people have dug out the text or the Mac OS equivalent of driver files from in the latest beta versions of OS X Catalina for a couple of the Ryzen APUs. Now, this is not really a good indication because it could be a case of they put the code inside there and in the end, nothing comes out of it. But it kind of leaks that at some point Apple did consider and may still be considering doing a Ryzen APU.
But that's just an issue of optimization, right? Which might take time, right?
Which might take time, and to be very honest, if there's a Ryzen APU MacBook or a MacBook Air, I'll be the first to buy one because my 2013 MacBook Air is getting a little bit old and slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't
know whether Final Cut Pro uses a lot of more of single core or multi-core.
Final Cut Pro definitely uses more cores. It definitely works better if you got more cores. That's for sure. Final Cut Pro, and even some of the audio softwares on Mac as well. That's a good point, actually, Mel. Okay, I got one. My God, this math guy is freaking hilarious. But I'll go to him in a bit. There's one very good question from Favor Emperor.
Yeah, good friend of mine. Yeah, he just loves trolling. So yes, that's all. Yes, it is a hole that you keep digging.
Okay, anyway, so the question from Favor Emperor is hi, and it's actually an excellent question. Hi, I have a question. How many years will I upgrade if I build a PC now? I think what's asking is if I build a PC now, like how long will it be till I need to upgrade? And that's actually
it's a valid
not
question.
as simple a question as it sounds, because there are so many different components that you can get. I can go for a super budget build, I can go for a mid-range build, and I can go for the throw money in your face build. Okay, now how long? Okay, sorry, I'll just say first, and then you guys can give me your thoughts. And actually, Mel, also maybe you can give me your thoughts. Now, when it comes to this sort of thing, like, it's really about the investment that you put in. That's one. It's also about knowing what the specs or what are the components that you need right now and what you intend to do with it. You know, that's really, really more important than talking about the years or talking about how long will it last. I mean, when I bought my PC, I splashed a lot of cash. But my main focus was I bought it because I was thinking of starting a YouTube channel. This was more than 2 years ago. I wanted to start a YouTube channel. So I bought the PC. And so my focus was I wanted something with a lot of cores. Why? Because I know I'm going to be using a lot of programs that fully utilize the number of cores my CPU has. Okay. However, I also game. Okay. So I wanted to get a good graphics card, and also I was not going to be using a full HD monitor, which is just as important as picking out your graphics card, guys. If you buy, if people tell you, oh, the GTX 1650 is good, the 1660 Super is good, but then you're on a 4K screen, no, it's not that good anymore, because the resolution you're playing at is 4 times the resolution of HD, and you've got like a 1650, which is going to give you maybe not the best performance or like average performance. So these are the kind of things that are very important. And actually, now that you mentioned this, now I did a 4-part series talking about how to pick the components, the best components for you. And I actually did this together with Dreamcore. Okay. However, Dreamcore are basically custom integrators. They are PC builders, just like Gordon, just like Typhoon Systems. Yep. So it doesn't matter that, what if I don't go to Dreamcore? It does not matter. The lessons that you learn from Eugene, the guy from Dreamcore, that basically explaining what the different components are and how you should pick them, then watch the video, but go to another custom integrator, go to whoever you're comfortable with. That really is totally fine. But the important thing, the real question is making sure you got the right components on the start. And then you talk about, like, if I want it to be, I wouldn't say future proof, but at least like good for a few years. Like for me, if I were to be realistic, my PC should be good for another 3 more years at least, until my techie hands become itchy again. But that's a different story lah.
Okay. I would say I mean, it's very easy to give like a ballpark number. I mean, like maybe 3 years, that kind of thing. But if you ask me, in my experience, it kind of depends on the user. What are your expectations? What are your use case? What are your expectations? What do you want? What do you expect? What do you need? That kind of thing. These are many factors that determine how whether you change your PC every 3 years, every 5 years, that kind of thing. I get customers who I get customers who bought a set from me 3 years ago, and then I call back them, hey, how's your PC? They said they're fine. It's still fine. It does what I need it to do. That kind of thing. So they're happy. So okay, fine. Then there are some kind of customers, we get quite a few. We get quite a few, especially in the professional field. These guys are some of these guys are forever chasing speed. So there was this one guy I had. I think he was like every 6 months to a year he was changing GPUs.
I think he has 4 2080 Ti's inside the system.
Yeah, now he has 4 2080 Ti's.
Okay, I'm sorry, but that is a perfect example of someone who's just got more money. Okay, I'm sorry, but more money than sense sometimes, because you're paying 4 times, but you're not getting 4 times the speed.
Oh, okay. I need to correct
Or
you
what,
on
is
that,
he
James.
crypto mining?
No. This guy
Photo compression.
is
Sorry?
4K
3D render.
compression.
No, not photo compression. This guy was 3D. He does like animation in application Cinema 4D, Octane. So for him, his clientele was basically a who's who of like people like Discovery Channel. That time, I think one of his latest projects was, I think recently Porsche launched their Porsche Taken. They had this launch event in the Marina Barrage with the things and the lights and all that. Yes, he did that project, the 3D animation. So this guy, his workload was mainly on GPUs. But he needs quite a fair bit of CPU as well. So I remember his set was like a 2990WX, the 32 core Threadripper, the previous gen one. He has 4 2080 Ti's. This is yeah. So yeah, this guy was like, when he first started out, he only had 2 GTX 1080s. Then he went to 2 1080 Ti's. Then he went to 2 RTX 2080 Ti's. And finally, the final evolution was 4 2080 Ti's.
Evolution. No, but okay, so they are all connected via NVLink, right?
Okay, for his cars, no, they were not connected by NVLink. But the thing, to get back to the topic, why he spent that kind of money to upgrade every 6 months to a year. He's a bit of an extreme case, but when I ask him why is he willing to spend this kind of money, he says because it's my work.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. Like, if you look at now he does like 3D and it's amazing, but it's also considered small scale. If you look at guys like Disney, Pixar, where they have render farms, warehouse full of PCs rendering movies, and even with that computational power, it still takes months to render a movie. Then okay, then that's fine. But if you're talking about the everyday user, that's a little insane. Okay, but anyway, I'm just gonna go through the comments again. Hey, Bernard! Hi, Bernard! Nice to see you chatting here. It's like, if I'm rich, I'll upgrade every year just like the rich do with their cars. Dude, if I had the money, I would upgrade my PC and my car every year, but I don't have a car. Anyway.
My car is a 9.5-year-old piece of shit that's going to see the COE monster in November.
Yes. Singapore is... Oh, man. Okay. Anyway, let me just check if there are any other questions from the guys. Joel and Mark are having a very interesting conversation. Sorry, Joel. Damn it, Apple is the worst. Got a new one last week and it already has a bite taken out of it. Okay, right. So let's move on. I want to ask. Okay, now I want you guys to take one each. Okay, just for fun, right? It doesn't have to be super accurate or anything. I want you guys to give me one build each. Okay, Mel, I want you to think of a good AMD build with a budget of about 2,000. Okay, Gordon, this will be easy for you lah. This is basically like a Tuesday for you, but I want you to give me a good budget. Okay, sorry, not a good budget, a good build for a budget of about 1,000. Sorry, 1,006. 1,000 is a bit ridiculous. Okay, I'm just talking about the tower or the desktop. Okay. Yeah, I'm not talking about your monitor. And okay, for both of you, I'm just gonna say this. It is for someone who is going to be playing it on a full HD screen. So a lot of people tend to forget about this, but this is super important. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Mel, I'll give you some time to think about it because you look like your brain is really spurring. Okay, so Gordon, why don't you do that? Think of something.
Let's put it this way. I understand for this question, I have a very big advantage over Mel here.
Yeah, exactly.
$2,000. He sells this every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so if you're looking at, let's say, a budget of 1,005, 1,006, let's round down 1,005.
Okay.
1,005. Very nice, very nice, very round number. So this is quite easy for me because I actually did this for customer. I just delivered a 1.5K PC today, actually, this morning to one of my customers. Yeah. So what I'm just gonna tell you is what was sent to him. Okay. On the CPU would be a Ryzen 5 3600. So Ryzen 5 3600.
Okay.
Yeah. Motherboard was MSI B450M Pro VDH Max. It's a cheap, no frills B450 motherboard. 16 gigs of RAM. 500 gig SSD. No secondary storage. It's only just the SSD. And what did I give? The best part was I gave him a Radeon 5700 XT.
So you're on the Radeon bandwagon, or you just think it's a better value right now?
No, because you asked me what will make a good gaming config for 1.5K, so that's my answer. So yeah.
Enough?
So of course the guy took it because actually there's a promo now for the 570 and 570 XTs, which is until I think the last day is tomorrow.
Wait, is this your promo or is this like a global thing?
It's a global thing. It's called the AMD Raise the Game promo. Yeah, so I believe the promo ends tomorrow. So, but in any case, back to topic. Yeah, 1.5K. That's what you get. So you get a mid-range CPU, you get 16 gigs of RAM, you get a 500 gig SSD, and you get AMD Radeon 5700 XT. Which, if to put it in comparison on the green side of the fence, is somewhere between an RTX 2060 Super and between an RTX 2070 Super.
Really?
Yeah, it's somewhere in between.
Yeah, actually, I'm about to go to there already.
Okay. All right, so Mel, you got your idea already. Okay, so last one I want to talk about is your PSU and your storage. For Gordon, what would you go?
Yeah. Okay, so for their 1.5K config, like I said, storage was a single 500 gig SSD. To fit it at 1.5K. What else did I put in? Oh yeah, I put in a Seasonic 650 watt power supply. So 650 watts. So 650 watts is just nice for the Radeon 5700 XT, because the system requirements for that particular GPU is about 600 watts. So 650 gives quite a fair bit of leeway. If the guy wants a little bit more leeway to, like, let's say, bump up to a 2080 Ti later, then okay lah, add another $70-$80 for a 750 watt power supply. He's all fine and dandy.
Okay, great. That was awesome. Thank you. All right, Mel, over to you.
Yeah, actually similar to him. I just 3600 or 3600X. I think 3600 good enough. Yeah, then cooler, you can either try because it's like $2,000. So additional $5 to spare compared to his, so we can squeeze in a Noctua cooler or something cheaper than that. Like he said, the CryoRig R1. Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just if you don't mind, I'll just help Mel out here a bit.
Sure.
Probably just because the way I see it, with $2,000 bump up. I mean, if the primary use is gaming, what I'll say is to adjust from my 1.5K config to 2K config. Bump up the CPU to, let's say, the 3600X the 6-core with the higher base clock and boost clock. Because that will help, especially when you put in a higher end GPU.
Sorry, just for our viewers, so the 3600, I believe, and the X, they are both 6-core and 12 threads. Just like the X has a higher base and boost clock, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great.
Correct.
Okay,
so to help Mel out here a bit, so the only change I will make going from 1.5 to 2K is this. Number one, bump up the CPU from 36 to 3600X. The SSD maybe bump up from 500 gig to 1 terabyte. That's because let's put it this way: if you got that budget to spare, put a bigger SSD so you can install a lot more games, have a lot more AAA titles on your at one go. GPU, I am probably what I will
put
probably
2070 Super at least minimum.
Which one, Mel?
2070 Super.
2070 Super.
Yeah, 2070 Super. If you can find a 2080 vanilla, go for that.
You can have mine. I hate it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants it anyway.
Yeah, nobody wants it. That's the problem.
Yeah, and depending on how you configure, you may be able to you'll probably stretch the budget a little bit over too, but you may be able to stretch to 2080 Super.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so I mean it's a matter of the numbers.
But
So
would you recommend a B450 or X570?
at this price range,
Okay, wait.
Okay,
Let's take this scenario like a week or like a few weeks down the road, and let's say the B550 is out already.
Oh,
okay.
So would you go
Okay.
B550 or X570?
For the guy with a $2,000 budget, yes, B550.
Does
For the
B550 still have Gen 4 support? PCIe Gen 4?
Okay, the main difference between B450 and B550 is B450 is all PCIe 3.
Correct.
All the slots, the M.2 slot, the M.2 NVMe SSD slots, the PCIe slots for the GPU, and what may have you is all 3.0. For B550, the first PCIe slot where you put the GPU is PCIe 4. The first M.2 slot is PCIe 4. Everything else is 3.
I see. Okay.
So, which is why B550 will be quite a fair bit more expensive than B450.
Yeah, but it's
how is it
excellent
like
value if
16
you think about it that way.
16, 8, and 4. It's 16, 8, and 1.
Yeah, so if you're looking at the $2,000 range, I mean the price difference being what it is, spend a little bit more, get the B550 because that actually buys you. Okay, none of really any of today's GPUs today can make use of PCIe 4. Not even Navi or not even the 2080 Ti.
Any word on RDNA 2? Whether it will support?
No word is on that.
No word, okay.
Yeah, but having said that, if you can spend that a little bit more in the $2,000 range, you can spend a little bit more on that B550. What you get in return for spending that a little bit more is the GPU slot is PCIe 4. So while today's GPUs may not take advantage of that, who is to say what is going to be the case 1 year from now, 2 years from now?
Yeah, exactly. And we've got NVIDIA's, so we've got RDNA 2 coming up. We've got NVIDIA's possibly Ampere architecture.
Yeah,
we don't know the specs of that yet.
We don't know the specs as of yet. But we do, but the one thing that this is based on my own observation, but we can see that the GPU race is heating up. Because actually before Navi came in, 570 and 570 XT came in, Nvidia was pretty much almost in the same position as Intel.
Yeah, so AMD is kind of like fighting two fronts. First, they concentrated on the CPU, and they wiped the floor with Intel in a lot of ways. Now, do you think they're starting to focus their attention on Nvidia?
You can see that they are trying to.
They're trying to, but it might not be as easy, I assume.
It's not It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be as easy. I mean, I work closely with both sides GPU wise, AMD Radeon
for sure,
as well as the Nvidia NVIDIA side. And the one thing that I can tell you, this is based on my own observation, based on my own experience. NVIDIA has always been a company that it always has a couple of secret weapons in the cupboard.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. You can observe the moment Radeon comes out a new GPU, NVIDIA will open the
They'll
door
whack
and say,
something,
"Oh, look,
or they will drop certain prices. Yeah.
they'll do something." So yeah, that side, the GPU side is also very exciting. But coming back to the point, yeah, if you can stretch a little bit more for the B550, please do so, because you may not use it now. But what if you upgrade in the future? You upgrade GPU 2 years from now. You upgrade to a PCIe 4 SSD 2 years from now. It's always good to have that kind of upgrade room.
Yeah. Okay. That was quite a long one. Okay, we've only got a few minutes left. One last question before we end today's stream. Now, what do you guys think Intel needs to do to sort of get back into the race?
I think they should maybe don't release CPUs that often. Like give them some time to really develop and come up new ones. Like don't be like Apple or Samsung keep releasing iterations every year. So
Actually,
maybe take some time.
do you think they do that? And yeah, they keep releasing crazy amounts of new CPUs. Do you think they're just doing that just to try and get new buyers, just to keep sales going? Because if they don't,
No, I just think they just want to have monopolize the market, get a foothold in the market, no matter what it is, because they know they're still there.
Yeah. That's
So it's just
basically what I'm saying. So what do you think? Okay, besides, so you're saying, Mel, that they need to focus on what R&D, getting the stuff right instead of just like pushing CPUs.
Maybe also maybe categorize better, and they know that they cannot beat the Epic level CPU, so they're trying to do it. But
we didn't even talk about Epic, but that one is the name says it all.
Yeah,
so
I
32 cores, 64 threads.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we ourselves we have built quite a couple of Epic systems. Yeah, those guys are fun. And that's the area where AMD is actually going for Intel's jugular, because they know Intel. To be very frank, Intel doesn't really make a lot of money out of the desktop class CPUs. Where they actually make the big kaching is from the data. Yeah. Is from the server side, the data center. So that is where. So now AMD finally has this technology. They have the war chest, and this is where they're going after. So coming back to your question, James, what does Intel need to do? Well, I would say they need to sit down and maybe think a couple of things through. I mean, based on my experience in this, Intel has always been a very good company when it comes to making good. I mean, when they're pushed to a corner, they come out good stuff. Let me to share a bit of history with the both of you. The last time Intel was pushed this hard, Intel released the Intel Core 2 Duo and the Core 2 Quad. That was that was back in 2005, 2006.
That was when they were being pushed by what? The AMD Athlons chips or
the AMD Athlons.
Yeah.
The Athlons. They were being pushed. And when they were pushed into that corner, they released the Core 2 Duo and the Core 2 Quad, that series in 2005. And any enthusiast who were playing with hardware from back then, any gamer from back then, will tell you that, pardon the French, that the Core 2 Duo and the Core 2 Quad were the best shit ever.
Yeah. At that point of time, it was amazing. Yeah.
It was absolutely mind-blowing, yes. So, and if you look at it this way, anybody from back then will remember those two. That line was with very fond memories, me included.
And also, not just for the performance, but also the names of the CPUs were a lot easier to understand than now. Now it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so what I think is that I think there's great things that can come out from Intel. but AMD is always in the corner. But they need AMD to be there kicking their ass every now and then, because I believe there's an English saying that a horse never runs so fast as when he has when he has another one running up to him, behind him.
I see. Okay. Yeah. I get what you're trying to say. Yeah. It's true. But
somebody asked a question on that, I think. Yeah.
so, do you think? Okay, this is just a guess. There's not going to be any information on this. But when do you think Intel can probably move to 7nm?
Okay, I won't say it's a matter of move to 7nm. I think the more proper question would be, when can Intel get back to being on top?
But that's a big part of it, right? If they're going to be stuck on 14nm, I don't see them getting any better, right?
They will take a while. No, it's not only a question of the nanometer, of the NM, the die process, the die size. It's also a lot about the architecture and everything. It's a lot. The process is a lot more complicated than that. That being said, to share a little bit of info, right after the Ryzen series came out, Intel went to this guy called Jim Keller. Jim Keller is the architect behind the Zen architecture on the AMD Ryzen CPUs. So what Intel did after they got slapped by Ryzen was they went to Jim Keller, they gave him a blank check and they asked him to come over, which Mr. Keller did. Yeah. But developing a whole new architecture, whole new strategy takes time. So as to when this would bear fruition, we do not know. It took Jim Keller and AMD took, I think, roughly about 5 to 6 years to do it. Yeah. Intel could probably do it in like maybe less time than that because they got more money and more resources. Let's be frank, that's the reality.
Yeah, AMD almost went bankrupt. Right?
AMD almost went bankrupt doing this, but the gamble was worth it for them. Intel will take some time to get out of it, but I believe when they do get out of it, they will be stronger, they will be better, and AMD will have a very big fight on its hands. And who benefits out of this very big fight between two titans?
All of us.
All of us, everybody. Because at the end of the day, we have seen much more advancement in CPU speed, number of cores, frequency, instructions, overall performance. We have seen much more improvement in the last 3 years since Ryzen came out than there was in the previous 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the power of competition.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Anyway, thanks, Gordon. Thanks, Mel. Okay, I was about to end, but we saw this one question from Mulgasm. It's a very general question. It says, what's a good price point now for a work gaming PC? And again, I'm sorry to not give you a straight answer, Mul, but it's a very difficult question, a lot more difficult question to answer than you might think. There's so many variables in this. What I would just say is, like I said, I've got that 4-part episode on my channel where I go in. There's another indication that it's difficult to answer. I needed to make 4 episodes just to answer this question. Okay, so go and check it out. I work with another company, but you can basically just get the points out of how you pick your PC. And in terms of what's the good price point now, it's really hard to say. There's so many variables that we can talk about now to find out. There's so many things that we will need to know, and it's so go and watch the video. I think it's a bit long to go through all 4 videos I made, but trust me, you would definitely benefit. If this is what you really want to know, you'll definitely get your answer. Okay, I think we are slightly over the hour. Yeah, pretty much the hour. Anyway, Mel from RealMelTan YouTube channel, thank you so much for joining. This has been so much fun. We'll try to have you guys back on again. Gordon again from Typhoon Systems. So Typhoon Systems is a custom integrator or custom PC builder. Do check them out if you have the time. If you're looking for a new PC, hit Gordon up. He's on Facebook. He's got a website. RealMelTan, if you want to see videos on CPUs, all the reviews that I can't do, go check him out. All right, you go and subscribe to his channel, and then you know.
I work directly with Gordon, so
yeah,
if you
they
see
work
Gordon,
they work very
yeah.
closely together. And like he managed to get some benchmarks done on the 10900K before it was released. So guys, go check out his channel. Anyway,
Yeah, that was fun.
yeah,
That
that
was
was
tiring.
so fun to watch. But anyway, so yeah, this Technobabble session series is not going to be a one-off, right? I'm going to have more people coming on. Maybe every week or every other week we have different topics, different people coming on. So if you do want to check us out, and of course I've got my own review videos as well. Do remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel as well. All right. So Mel, once again, Gordon, thank you guys so much, and thank you guys so much for watching the stream. Good night.
Bye.
Like.